mysterious videotape, accidentally found by hikers in 1991, reveals a sinister arson that might have been the result of satanic practices. The incident takes more twisted and tragic turns when more segments of it are revealed to the public. Hi folks, I'm R, your narrator. You can follow me on Twitter where you can send me video suggestions and communicate with me. This video will have spoilers ahead. With that in mind, let's begin. On July 1991, a group of hikers find a garbage bag containing a videotape and some articles of clothing in Spring Forest State Park. After watching the tape, they turn it into the police station, believing it's just a prank. Police, however, knowing of the factuality of the incident, has a different idea. They release portions of the tape in hopes of identifying the perpetrators. The tape starts at 6:24 p.m., 19th of May 1989, roughly 2 years before the tape was found. The person recording is in a dilapidated abandoned building, seemingly being once a hospital. Walking around and exploring the eerie building, the camera person comes across satanic symbolisms drawn in different rooms. The awfully calm camera person then continues on, reaching a seemingly operating room with a tape player playing an eerie audio of a child patient and a doctor.
I'm not sure, but I do feel a little bit better.
The doctor's sentences are very quiet and whisper-like, asking if the medicines are working, with the child patient in a timid and shy manner answering that he's not sure, but that he feels better. The tape is then abruptly cut short when the doctor continues on something that they spoke about earlier. Exploring further, the camera person comes across small cell-like rooms, which implies that this hospital wasn't a normal public hospital, but seemingly a mental hospital, with the cells containing dangerous patients. In each room, there are several mattresses, gallons of water seemingly, if not filled with flammable fluid. There are also gas tanks and canned food, as if people lived here within the dilapidated building. Suddenly, the time skips 2 hours ahead, with that portion of the recording not displayed to the public. Being now nighttime at 9:30 p.m. roughly, the camera person comes across a circle of lit candles, seemingly being part of a satanic ritual being currently performed. As the candles look freshly lit up, the camera person then comes across a doll when suddenly the tape skips to the next day, with the camera person being in front of a modern, expensive-looking house. The time being 11:30 p.m. on 20th of May 1989, the person behind the camera breaks into the house while still recording his journey. The house being fully lit, with music playing at the background. It seems as if the owners are within the house. That's when suddenly the tape skips to some time later, with the camera being dropped to the ground, blood being splattered all over the floor, with a female voice being heard in unsettling tone, squirming and screaming in pain. The tape then quickly skips ahead, with the camera person on top of a hill outside of the house, directly above it, being set on fire now, while the fire truck sirens are heard in the distance. The camera person, having a male voice, mumbles unintelligible words, sounding as if he says it's tonight's sacrifice. Observing the house lit on fire, the cameraman seemingly is proud of what he's witnessing. The satanic symbolism throughout the dilapidated, seemingly burnt building, alongside the mattresses and canned food in the cells, and the final circle of candles, all heavily lean towards practice of Satanism. Several mattresses being placed in the cells suggest that more than one person was involved in the practice. The freshly lit circle of candles suggests that the cameraman had a part in the practice, possibly involving more people. Towards the end, the cameraman seemingly intruded in someone's house, which he and his group were targeting for some time, which they enter one day after the recording started, when the time was right, mercilessly murdering the house residents and finally setting it on fire, and observing it from a safe distance while the emergencies respond to it. The cameraman is heard at the end uttering the words that it's tonight's sacrifice, displaying that killing the house residents and setting it on fire was part of their satanic cult ritual. It's not too clear why the perpetrators would just throw the tape away, possibly 2 years later in a garbage bag for people to find it. Maybe, just like some narcissistic serial killers, they enjoyed the attention, or maybe they suffered from mental illness. The latter probability is in a way hinted at slightly through the tape recording found in the burnt-down abandoned mental hospital. The recording suggests a child patient possibly suffered from some sort of psychosis, heard voices which he might have interpreted to be from Satan or other types of demons. The doctor prescribed him medicine which clearly did not work, which the child patient just dismissed as making him feel better to avoid further questioning. The doctor's voice is cut off when he wants to get back to something they talked about earlier, which presumably is the delusions or visions the child suffers from. The child patient is probably the Satanist arsonist cameraman who had some sort of psychosis, who was taking medications, possibly having visions of demons. The mental hospital burnt down and eventually was abandoned, which is possibly due to the child burning it, who grew up visiting the hospital and using it as a Satanist ritual grounds and targeted another house to burn. The story has seemingly been inspired by real-life events, the case of Stockton, California arson, which went unsolved for a long time before being broadcasted, with 2 teenagers being arrested and with one committed to state mental hospital who were practicing Satanism. On 5th of August 1989, a family driving near Stockton, California, they find a camouflage jacket near the road, which they find a videotape inside. Playing the videotape on their house entertainment system, they witness the unsettling recording of a house fire, with the person recording making references to Satanism, mentioning,
"Look at it, Omar. This is what I've been doing all week's vacation. I said I'll do it. I said I'll do it."
Horrified to what they witnessed, the family turned the tape into the authorities, who presumed the person recording is the arsonist. At first, they failed to identify the house despite enhancing it, failing to find any leads. An investigator goes to the site and finds a wooden pistol and ceramic skull, which they confirm to be items used in satanic rituals, believing the arsonist alongside his menacing lines performed the sick ritual, burning the house as the result. Desperate to solve the case, they allowed the case to be broadcasted on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries on 19th of September 1990. Shortly after, people report the fire to have been of a house under construction in Redwood City, which is 80 miles away from Stockton, leading to the fire department confirming the fire as they surprisingly recorded the exact fire for training purposes, with both recordings matching each other to be identical. Several tips lead to a 17-year-old who also turns in a 19-year-old who were both involved in the arson. They confirmed that the fire took place in 1988, 1 year before the tape was found, and the 19-year-old was committed to the state mental hospital. Fortunately, the house was under construction at the time, and no one seemingly got harmed as the result. If you enjoyed this video, hit the cards on the screen for more Puppet Combo videos. Also stay tuned by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your host Star, folks, and as always, have a fantastic day.